Manchester is known for its diversity, with its array of cultural differences and the iconic Canal Street. But is it really the city of acceptance? In 2016, the transgender community is more accepted than ever. However, in this documentary we explore religion and the trans community's rocky relationship.
And I'm worship leader here at New Chapel Unitarian and Free Christian Church in Denton. I was appointed worship leader in 2013. I undertake all the rites of passage, which includes weddings, baptisms and funerals. I also lead worship once a month here. I also visit neighbouring Unitarian chapels in Wigan and Warrington to lead services there. The Unitarian movement. It's a breakaway religious movement from the Church of England, and our beliefs are freedom, reason and tolerance. We're open to science and we're eternal seekers of the truth, and we encourage everybody to find their own spiritual path through life. Last year I was approached by a same-sex couple who were in a civil partnership, and because of the marriage law reformation, they had their civil partnership converted to a marriage. So they weren't allowed to celebrate their marriage within their denomination, so they came here, and I conducted for them a celebration of same-sex marriage. They confided in me that the child that then was a boy was going through transition. I think she thought when she told me that I was going to say, "Don't you darken my door again," and I just said, "Okay," and what's the big deal kind of thing, and she just said, "I'm so glad that you feel like that," and I said, "Well, when the time comes, if you want to be baptised, I'm sure that we can organise some sort of a celebration for you." We proposed the motion to perform transgender baptisms, and it was unanimously agreed by every single person that was here voting, spanning generations. Everybody agreed that we should do it. So obviously I went back to the family and I said yes. They've said yes, so now we have the baptism booked in, and I'm currently in the process of writing it and making it extra special.
Hi, I'm Reverend Rachel Mann. I'm a Church of England priest. I'm priest in charge of St Nicholas Burnage. I'm also resident poet at Manchester Cathedral. I also happen to be a trans woman. At the time I wasn't a person of faith. In fact, I would say that I was very anti-religion. But as I went through that transition, I was working in a university setting at the time. I began to have all sorts of questions about my identity, about where my understanding of God and faith sat within that. And in my mid-20s, I became a Christian, and without boring you with all the details of what that entailed, ultimately that led on this path to me becoming a Church of England priest. I think what's interesting about the internet age is how you now get a lot of these keyboard warriors who find it very comfortable and easy to hurl abuse and insults from behind the safety of a screen and a keyboard. And I've had quite a lot of stuff, unpleasant stuff, from the United States in particular. But in some ways that's okay, because those people don't affect me. There are, of course, people in the Church of England who think that people like me are wrong, I guess, have committed some terrible sin, have gone against nature by saying, actually, the sex/gender I was assigned at birth is not my authentic one. And I've gone face to face with people in debate about that, and it is an extraordinarily uncomfortable experience.
We took to Canal Street, the heart of Manchester's gay village, to ask the people of Manchester their opinions on religion's acceptance of the transgender community.
Well, my attitude towards religion is multi-faith, it's what you are. And to be baptised in the church, I think the Lord should accept anyone for who they are, what they are, creed, colour,
I have no problem if people want to do it. Everybody's entitled to their own way of life, and nobody should ever be stopped for how they feel.
If someone is religious, then I think that it's a good step forward. Hopefully inspirational for other churches and churches and people like religious people all together. It shouldn't be denied to be who you are. And if they say like God, that God loves His children, I mean, transgender people are His children. If that's how they will look at it. So they not accepting them within their community is actually being a hypocrite.
So I think my instinctive reaction when I heard the story breaking about the church in Denton was to say that sounds like a positive thing, because trans people often have a very powerful sense of wanting to be affirmed in their identity, in their self-understanding.
A modern society is meant to be an inclusive society. Everybody's fighting for equality. So why not actually make an inclusive society where we say all are welcome here, and genuinely mean all are welcome here, regardless of your creed or your sex or your faith.
Is a statue enough? A look at the progression of feminism in Manchester.
The statue of Emmeline Pankhurst is the first female statue to be unveiled in Manchester for over 100 years. In fact, the last one to go up was the famous statue of Queen Victoria in the centre of Piccadilly Gardens. Pankhurst was a revelation in changing the lives of women, as in 1856 the suffragette movement campaigned for women to get the vote as well as men, but her dedication to this was never going to be easy. In fact, when parliamentary reform was debated in 1867, the amendment to give the vote to women was rejected by 194 votes to 73. The organised feminist march named Reclaim the Night demonstrates that women still feel unsafe. As important as these kind of events are in regards to women protesting against sexual violence and harassment, in this day and age, these kind of crimes shouldn't exist. Women shouldn't have to light up the night.
What do we want? Safe streets! When do we want them? Now! What do we want? Safe streets! When do we want them? Now!
The streets of Manchester are still regarded as unsafe for women.
What experiences have made you attend an event like tonight?
I was a school child, I was in school uniform, I was on a bus, and a man started masturbating on the bus while I was on my own, so we're on the top deck, and I'm on my own, no one else is there. So as a 12-year-old child, what on earth do you do? And luckily I knew what to do, and I went downstairs and I went near the driver, and I explained to the driver what had happened, and I said, this is my stop. And when I went to get off, the man went to get off, so I stayed on. So the bus driver worked with me, and in the end I decided to stay on the bus all the way to Staley Bridge, which was 5 miles past where I lived, stay with the bus driver and then ask my parents to pick me up. So pretty much everything that happened happens in my life is associated, so something like this is a natural place that I'd want to be, to celebrate, to network, meet like-minded people, and obviously to support as well.
We interviewed Dorothy, who is heavily involved in the MMU Feminist Society. We wanted to know why she chose to get involved with this.
Well, I mean, obviously, like with Reclaim the Night and things like that, there's been a lot of I don't want to say hype because I don't want it to detract from, you know, how important it is. To raise a really strong female figure. My mum was like, she was really high up in the BBC and then she was like an MP for a while. And I think my dad left mostly because he'd never been as successful as her. So, you know, I've watched her struggle because of her gender, like, in pretty much everything she's done, but she's always managed to overcome it, but it cost her personal life. So I think that's something that, you know, is fueled by the patriarchy, and it's something that will always really bother me.
We interviewed Sam Colling, who wanted to know a specialist's opinion on feminism and gender equality.
I consider myself to be a feminist in all aspects of my life. I think that when you consider what feminism actually is, the belief in equality between the sexes, that interpenetrates in all aspects of your life, so it has an impact on your work life, on your social life.
How it happens has changed. I think there may be less people on the bus doing things like that because sexting, stuff on Facebook forums, that kind of grooming, it's very, I mean, I'm 40 this year, so it's different what people have to endure, different environments.
There's religion that you can hide behind, there's lots of other stuff that you can hide behind, and I don't think it's as forward as we should be, especially in the year 2016. So, to be honest, I think we're very, very, very behind as far as the UK is concerned. By pushing further, but it takes countries like especially Europe to keep pushing, because I think the more that Europe pushes can help especially women in other countries, and only till we keep pushing, until we still fighting, we can help others. Otherwise it will not change. No.
Oh, definitely. Like the apologies that you make for people who do things like that to you, like especially like girls when they're out, like getting like hit on and stuff, and getting like actually physically touched by people they don't know, and then they're just like, oh, it's just like, you know, it's just what happens. Shouldn't be. Should never have to say that.
Private funding from Didsbury councillor Andrew Simcook has resulted in the statue in Pankhurst home of Manchester. To many, this is a cause of celebration for such an important woman, but are the causes she fought for still relevant in Manchester today?
But with the Pankhurst statue, I just feel like it's kind of a cop-out a bit, really. Like, it's like they're saying, we're giving you this statue, you should be happy about that. It's too little too late, really. It's 2019, it's still like many years off. Like, why is it that this is only happening now? And, you know, are we going to be happy with the scraps they're throwing us? Or do we actually want to see real change?
I think that it's really interesting that there's not been a statue of a woman in 100 years in Manchester, considering the feminist movement that has existed over the last 100 years in Manchester, and thinking about like the amount of prominent women that have come out of Manchester, particularly out of the universities and that kind of thing. The fact that there hasn't been a statue of a woman in 100 years, that's what's significant. What I think is interesting is that the statue can raise those questions.
I love the link there as well. The link feels quite weighted and quite biased, to be honest. Is putting Pankhurst in the city centre going to stop all forms of sexual assault? No, it isn't. Do you know what I mean? It's a positive thing that she's recognised. We've got the Pankhurst Centre. Are we celebrating that building enough, actually? Should the money put into the Pankhurst statue in 2019 actually be spent on supporting the Pankhurst Centre? Possibly, it's just come to my mind now. We've still got a long way to go, and a statue isn't going to change that, is it?
Canal Street, Two Sides, a documentary looking at Manchester's Canal Street and the LGBT community from different viewpoints.
I think it's just an amazing place where lots of different sorts of people come together. Definitely the place where I see the most range in ages, diversity, people from different backgrounds, all there for different reasons, but all kind of joining together to just have fun.
Well, from the moment that I was born, I knew that I wasn't normal. I never, when I was like young in Brazil, I left Brazil when I was like 12. I would always pretend to be into girls, so therefore nobody would question my sexuality. And the word gay came up and I was like, I think I am gay. I know that I'm gay. I know feelings for those girls. Well, I think that the problem in terms of like negativity in Canal Street comes from in and outside. Outside is because it is what it is. The gay world is more negative because we are supposed to be lifting each other up instead of tearing each other down. Why I visit Canal Street? Girl, is a place to be on a night out. If you're a straight girl, if you are about to get married, if you're husband but you want to have a bachelorette, if you're just gay and in the scene, or if you just want to cuddle next to somebody, you go to Canal Street. It's a beautiful event. Everyone gets dressed up. You see, it's almost like you're going to a Great Gatsby party but in different mini houses. It's beautiful.
So my name's Ali, I'm the centre manager here at the LGBT Centre, and I've done this job for about 2.5 years. So the Proud Trust was set up 10 years ago with £10 in a bank account, and we renamed, we used to be called LGBT Youth North West, we renamed last year when it was our 10th birthday. So we work in Manchester and further afield with LGBT young people and the wider community. Because the main changes are the kind of inclusion of different parts of the LGBT communities, you know. So when this centre first opened, it was called the Gay Centre, you know, and at the time it's very much about gay and bisexual men, and then it became the Lesbian and Gay Centre, and then you added bisexual people in, and then you added trans people in, and then you added intersex people and, you know, allies, and so it's kind of the way in which people are identifying is changing. Within the communities, there's still people that don't understand everybody else's needs and identities as well, you know. Just because I'm a lesbian woman, it doesn't mean I'm going to understand every lesbian woman's needs and interests, you know. It doesn't mean I'm going to understand what it's like to be a trans woman or a gay man, you know. But we like learn and share from each other, hopefully, and just be nice, you know.
LGBT community in Manchester, it's okay, it could be better. I feel like we have a system that brings newcomers to the Canal Street to make you feel more comfortable, but once you're there, you're in a battlefield. When you go to a gay club, you're entering a lion's den.
I think because the laws have changed, people think, oh well, it's fine now for LGBT people, but we know, particularly from the people we work with, that's still not the case, you know. People assume that people are heterosexual all the time, people don't understand the kind of intersections of identity, so how black lesbians experience racism and homophobia, you know, how disabled gay men experience ableism and homophobia. So it's kind of looking at the kind of whole person, not just about sexual orientation or their gender identity. There's loads of stuff that still happens, you know, and I think knowing actually that sometimes the village isn't a safe place as well, I think that's sometimes quite a shock to a lot of LGBT people who think, oh well, I can go to the village, the gay bars are really cool, that's where it's going to be dead good for me. But actually, you know, experiencing negativity in the village as well has been quite a shock for a lot of LGBT people, I think, which is great that there's charities where you can go that are kind of outside of the village and support, but yeah, there's ongoing issues, you know, and so you're still going to get the kind of associated risks that you would in any other kind of club and pub scene, really, which is disappointing. But I mean, it's really nice for some people saying, you know, I could just hold hands with my partner and nobody's going to stare or, you know, call me names and stuff.
Some of the good experiences I've had on Canal Street, pretty much every time I've been here, it's been a good experience. I don't live in Manchester anymore, but I used to live here for several years, living and working here, and came here for most of my nights out. I brought several different friends here, and I think it's really kind of positively impacted them. For example, one of my closest friends, he's a straight guy, really straight, you know, always going with girls. But he loves coming to Canal Street more than anywhere else in Manchester for a night out, because for him, he just finds it somewhere where he can express himself. He loves the music here, he loves the vibe. I think a lot of people think of Canal Street and think it's just kind of girls and gay guys, but actually a lot of straight guys can come here and have an amazing night as well, which is cool. I've also brought one of my foreign friends here who I met through university. He's Korean and he's gay, and he finds that in Korea there's no real nightlife for gay people, and it can actually sometimes be quite dangerous and he can be met with bad reactions. So it was really cool to bring him to Canal Street, and he found it was really freeing and really amazing that there's somewhere so open and accepting for him to have a good night out.
Katie Heron wore army pants and flip-flops, so therefore I bought army pants and flip-flops.